Hello, welcome to part two of my video vlogs, mapping my journey with my weight loss medication and my weight loss in general. So if you joined us for part two, thank you. If you haven't seen part one, why? No, please go and have a look at part one. Part one, I talked about my why. Um, so why did I decide to start taking weight loss medication? All my personal drivers behind it. And so part two, I want to talk about some of the side effects that I've experienced whilst taking Wegovy medication. So if you're here, chances are you are already using weight loss medication, in particular Wegovy, or thinking about using Wegovy. So these videos that I'm doing of just really and truthfully mapping out my own personal experiences and sharing with you my journey whilst I'm taking this medication. Um, I have to say, pretty much so far, I mean, the I can evidence the weight loss really and truthfully with this little graph here. And that graph shows you the weight loss, but to kind of break it down, so March 2025 this year, I weighed 145 kilos, which in old money is, I was close to 20, I was 22 stone, close to 23 stone in weight. October 2025, so this week I weighed myself earlier this week, and I've come in at 114 kilos, which is just over 18 stone in old money. So in total I've lost so far since March just over 4 stone um, in old money, or 31 kilos if my maths is correct, in new money. So yeah, so I've done well, and I'm pleased with my results so far. But it's not been without its challenges, and that's why that's why I'm doing this video, and the purpose of this video today. Um, there's been two main side effects that I've experienced. One side effect is the positive, which I'll go into now. Um, since the age of 14, 15, I've been a smoker, and I would probably say probably quite a heavy smoker. Since taking this weight loss medication in May, I decided, because of other life events as well, to give up smoking. And I have to say that it's been easier than I've ever possibly imagined. In fact, very, very, very easy to give up smoking. I'm not entirely smoke free. I'm vaping, but the nicotine levels I use in the vape are the lowest that you could possibly have. And next month I'm thinking about dropping the nicotine out of the vape, going nicotine free on the vape, with my purpose of potentially being vape free, smoke free by the end of this year. But we'll see how we go with that. The side effect that I wanted to talk about, the main side effect that I've had, I don't think I can really say that I've experienced any other side effects other than this one side effect, and that's been nausea. That's been the biggest challenge of this weight loss journey, is dealing with the nausea. And I wanted to share with you a couple of tips that I've found have helped me. But before I go into that, I need to make it clear I'm not a clinician, I'm not clinically trained, I'm not medically trained, I'm not a dietitian, I'm no way affiliated to the provider or the company that prescribes this weight loss medication for me, who is Aviva in this country. So I'm from the UK. Wegovy is prescribed to me via the NHS, via a provider called Aviva, who do a wraparound support with this weight loss journey. And I'll do another video on my experiences with Aviva possibly next week. So the side effect of nausea, the first thing I noticed when I took my first injection was within a couple of hours I felt quite sick. Was never actually sick and have never been sick, and I'm now on the main dose, the maximum dose of this Wegovy, which is 2.4 milligrams, I believe. Um, yeah, it's not going to go up anymore, and I'll be on this now for the remainder of the 2 years, as I understand, which is how long this program lasts for. Um, so yeah, I noticed the feeling of nausea after the first injection within a couple of hours, um, and that continued for about 5 days after the first injection. Like I say, I was never sick, but I just felt felt a bit sick. It didn't stop me from doing anything. It was there. It was kind of constantly there, kind of thing. So the first thing that I did with that was move my injection time. So I moved the injection time from first thing in the morning to last thing in the evening, just before I went to go to bed. My thought process being that if I took the injection and went to bed, I would sleep through the first wave of nausea, um, and then wake up the next day. Yeah, in a for me what was now the new normal, which was feeling slightly sick. And that's worked for me. That really has. Um, so if I can pass on anything to you is if you do feel nauseous after taking the injection, try it for a couple of weeks. If you're not actually sick, then maybe consider or think about moving your injection time to just before you go to bed. It's worked for me. I don't know if it'll work for you. Make sure that you check with your any prescriber or medical profession if it's safe for you to do so, to take that medication just before you go to bed. That's worked for me. So I want to give you my top tips, and I'm going to break it down. So my first top tip, I think, is motivation, um, and I want to break that down into two parts. So your motivation is I think is a huge driver in anything that we do. You know, we're not very good as human beings doing things if we're not motivated to do it, or certainly I'm not anyway. So for me, my two main drivers to keep my motivation going was remembering why I'm on this journey and why I wanted to take this medication, and what what it means to me. So that's your first part of your motivation, and then the second part of your motivation is recognizing your wins, and using your wins to keep you motivated, to keep you going. So my wins, and when I was talking about wins, I'm talking about take anything as a win. Take anything as a win. You know, the first day that you take the medication after the first week or so, kind of thing. If you've noticed that you're not eating the types of food that you were, or maybe you've dropped a couple of pound or a couple of, or maybe a kilo or something like that, use that as a win. Remind yourself of those wins. Um, there are going to be times where you're going to find it challenging, and maybe the weight has maybe not gone as quick as you'd like it to have done, or maybe you've gained a couple of pounds since the last time you weighed yourself. Apparently, that's very normal, um, and it certainly has been in my case. It certainly has been in my case. I've had a couple of weeks where I didn't feel that the weight was coming off as quick as I'd like it to, or that I'd actually gone up a little bit. So I just reminded myself of the journey so far and stayed motivated, reminded myself of why I was doing what I was doing, and that's helped me with a foundation. So the tips for dealing with the feeling sick. So I've dealt with the motivation. One of the practical tips was grazing, and I got this from the one of the dietitians that I spoke to, from Oviva, was thinking about having small bits of something to eat just when you're starting to feel sick and the nausea kind of comes on, having a little bit of something to eat, even if it's in between a meal, Remember your meal sizes as well. Remember to try and eat your 3 meals a day. It's difficult, but try to, and even if it's small amounts, small meals. But a little bit of grazing has helped, and for me, a little bit of an apple or a couple of grapes here and there kind of thing has helped. So that's tip 1, grazing. Tip 2, sipping water has helped. Really, really helped with, especially with the nausea. Taking time out, bit of breathing, sipping some water has helped with dealing with the nausea. Tip 3, chewing gum. That's helped me with giving up smoking anyway, especially as my main cigarette, my main habit cigarette was driving, and I would always want to be smoking. I'd measure journeys by how many cigarettes I would smoke over a journey. So chewing gum has certainly helped with that. It helped with the nausea, and it's helped with the giving up smoking as well. Tip 4, peppermint tea. Peppermint tea, yeah. So I never thought that I would enjoy peppermint tea, and in real honest, truthfully speaking, I still don't. But actually, I don't mind it too much, and certainly since I've given up smoking, I can taste it better. So that's one of the things that comes back when you give up smoking, is your taste. But yeah, peppermint tea helped deal with the nausea. So that's my last of my top tips for dealing with nausea. Apparently, nausea is quite a common side effect with Wegovy, a weight loss medication. But you can do it. It's you can manage it. Just remember that motivation. Remember your motivation as to why you're doing it. Try and find things to take your mind off of it, because I think the mind is a very, 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 very powerful thing, and certainly that motivation can help with dealing with things like nausea and what have you. Which for me was, I started to consider it more of an inconvenience than anything else. And it certainly gets better as you progress with the weight loss medication. But yeah, you can do it. You've got this. So those are my top tips. So I'll just recap: grazing, a little bit of something to eat, small amounts. Sipping water has helped. Chewing gum helps. And drinking peppermint tea really did help settle the stomach as well. So those are my top tips. Thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe. If you want to see why I'm on the journey that I'm on and want to go into a bit more detail, then please have a look at video 1. Other than that, thank you very much for watching the video. Like and subscribe, as I said. Leave a comment. I will answer any questions that you want to ask. And I hope that you're enjoying your journey. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye.